First, let us see these balance control accounts. Okay, so I'll just navigate to or change it to our demo company MRF. So actually we can configure any main account as a balance control account such that whenever you use that main account or before you create and post any journal, you can see what is the existing balance in that account and in how many other journals this particular main account is booked. I mean, it's kept as a draft without being posted, and what will be the next balance if at all we post all those journals or post the now created journal now. So to understand this or before we post any transaction to just to identify what kind of balances we have in that accounts, we can set few accounts as balance control accounts. Mostly like petty cash accounts and cash accounts are used to be set as balance control accounts. And bank accounts are by default balance control accounts. They will by default show the balances automatically. So we will see that two parts. So first I'll take you to general ledger here. So under chart of accounts, we know this menu where we have configured main accounts previously. So general ledger, chart of accounts, and I have balance control accounts here as the last menu in the accounts. General ledger, chart of accounts and in accounts I have balance control accounts. Done. Noted down the navigation. So general ledger, chart of accounts and balance control accounts. If I click on balance control accounts here, I don't have any accounts configured. Okay. I'll add one or two accounts. Okay. I'll add new here. It's a very simple setup. You can select any of the account as a balance control account. So I'm selecting this cash account and I'm also selecting another account, petty cash account. So these two accounts I'm selecting as balance control accounts. You can select any account as you wish from your list of main accounts that you have, but preferably mostly they'll select the liquidity accounts like cash accounts, petty cash accounts, bank account. Bank accounts by default will be the balance control accounts as I told you. So I have selected two accounts now. So how to use this balance control account? Selected main account already exists as a balance control account. Enter different main account. No, that's okay. I have two accounts already. Right? So I have gone to this one, general ledger, chart of accounts and balance control account. So I have went to balance control accounts and gave two accounts or added two accounts here from the list of main accounts that I have. Now let us see how we can use this balance control accounts or what is the purpose of this small configuration we have done. Okay, to demonstrate this agenda of this configuration or how it works, I'm going to general journals now. So in general ledger, journal entries and journals. So it takes a while actually, since it is the first transaction. So I'll create a new journal quickly. So journal, select a general journal. I'll pay any petty expense or just create a transaction without posting it. I'll just create a normal transaction. Okay. So I'll use this one account, expense account, some miscellaneous expense account for a normal transaction. So I'm selecting this miscellaneous expense account. I'm debiting the expense account since expense are always debit. I'm debiting it with $100. Okay, just look at this $100. And I'm selecting offset account as my petty cash account. Okay, here and save this. So I just created this journal, selected the miscellaneous expense account, debited it, and selected for credit. I have selected the petty cash account to pay this miscellaneous expense. So this voucher is complete now and I can post it. But before posting it, I want to check either there is some balance in the petty cash account or not. So I am posting an entry, which means that I have to have or I have to give the same amount to for that particular expense if I'm posting this transaction. Maybe before, after paying it, I can post it, or after posting it also I can pay it. Anything I can do. But if at all I'm posting, it means I should ensure that I have enough balance in the petty cash account. So if I have or not, we can easily check it here since we have configured that as a balance control account. So here under inquiries, I have this inquiry balance control. You can see here. Under inquiries in the journal header, I mean in the action tab, I have balance control. So if I click on balance control, I can see the two accounts that I have configured for balance control with the balance. See, I can see cash account as well as petty cash account. So I'll come from this side. Actually, the module is ledger since these are ledger accounts only. Account number 1 lakh and 1 lakh to cash and petty cash. So let's look into petty cash account first. Okay. So in the petty cash account, before this journal, the existing balance is $200. So in trial balance, if you would go and check, the existing balance is minus $200. Now in this particular journal, we have booked it for minus 100, which means we have credited it for 100, right? So which shows minus 100. So you can see transactions. So in transactions, it is booked for 100. So after journal, in case if at all I post this journal, the one that I booked here, what will be the balance in the petty cash account? So it will be minus 300 because minus 200 and adding another minus 100 to that will be minus 300, right? So it will be minus 300. And other journals, it's not booked in any other journal other than this one. So it is showing other journals is zero. So so if at all I post other journals also, I'll be having this balance only minus 300. So it says small inquiry, quick inquiry, or and we can understand how much balance we have in that account in this way. So coming to this one cash account, as you can see here. So now in cash account, we have this balance like minus 19 lakhs 40, sorry, minus 1 lakh 94,400 balance we have. It's in negative numbers. Actually, we have overdraft balance. Okay. In this particular transaction, we did not book the cash account, right? We did not use cash account anywhere. We used miscellaneous expense account and petty cash accounts. So that is why in this particular transaction, you don't have, in this particular journal, you don't have any balance booked for your cash account. However, I mean, if you post this journal, the balance will be the same. Whatever it is there initially, this will be the same. Coming to other journals, this cash account is booked in some other journals. We have outside, we have some journals that are created and saved, right? Which we did not post. So in few of those journals, cash account might have been used, or uh, some transaction might have been created using cash account as credit. So I can see minus 2,26,490 as a booked balance for cash account. So these journals are not posted yet. Just that cash account is booked in those journals. Later they might post it. So if at all I post all these journals where cash account is booked, other journals also, then this will be the remaining balance in my cash account. So this is a quick inquiry. If at all we configure balance control account there in that page, we can see all the accounts here and the balances here in this page. So that is what balance control accounts do, or the configuration of balance control, or the purpose of balance control is to identify how much balance is existing in that account that we are going to use, and also to check what will be the remaining balance if at all we post the transaction, or how many journals it is I mean how much amount is booked in other journals, and according to that numbers we can proceed. Either we can use that account or we may not use that account. So we can, our users can have a quick inquiry and proceed or may stop with posting transactions or using that posting transactions using that account. So I'll just show you a duplicate tab. I'll show you trial balance as well for your better understanding. Okay, so you understood that configuration, right? Configuring balance control accounts at least. Now I'm running the trial balance of my accounts so to identify how which account is holding how much balance. Okay, so I'm running the trial balance inquiry to see the balances. So I see in my petty cash account the balance is credit 200, which means minus 200 is my balance I have in my petty cash account, right? So this is the existing balance. So since I have configured that petty cash account in balance control accounts, it will show under this inquiry. Whenever I create any journal, here also I use the petty cash account for 100 credit, right? So if I go to inquiries here in the journal and click on balance control, I can see the accounts that I have configured for balance control. Those two accounts, cash account and petty cash account. See here. So reading this petty cash accounts, it's account number, name petty cash account. So before this journal, how much balance we have in the account. So originally how much balance we have minus 200. So that is what it is showing here minus 200. So in this journal, what we have done, we have credited the same account for another 100, but we did not post this one yet. So it is showing that it is credited for 100. So minus 100 indicates that it is credited for 100. So what happens in case if I post this journal that I have created, the minus 200 will be added with another minus 100. On a total, the balance will turn up to minus 300. If at all I post this journal, so it is showing after journal, after posting this journal. Okay. This other journals means other than this journal, we have lot of journals right outside here. So in those journals, either this petty cash account is booked somewhere or not. That's what it looks into, system looks into. Whereas it comes to petty cash account, it is not booked in any of these journals or not used as a debit or credit in any of those journals or any other voucher lines. So that is why here in the inquiry it is showing other journals as zero, means it is not used in any other journals which are not yet posted. So it is showing zero. So after other journals means since we don't have any balance, if even though we post them, we'll get minus 300 only because we don't have this petty cash account booked in other journals, right? So we have minus 300 straight. In case if I post this journal, I mean the one that I booked here, then I'll have minus 300. That's what system is saying. Coming to cash account, I see the cash account balance I have here is in trial balance 1,94,400. Here also it is showing the same 1,94,400. So coming to this transaction, we did not use the cash account. So that is why it is showing transaction is zero. Means we did not use that cash account as debit or credit account here in this particular voucher. So that is why it is showing as zero. Suppose if I create another voucher here, quickly I'll do that. So I'm using another account like rent expense account or anything. And I'm debiting it for 1000. Okay. And I'm using let offset account as cash account. Saved it. Then I'm going for inquiries once again and going for balance control. So it will refresh the balances. This time I can see under transactions there is minus 1000, which explains like within this journal I have credited this cash account in one of the voucher, or if at all I do it in 4 or 5 vouchers, the consolidated balance will show up here. I mean the debits and credits will be added and subtracted, and the delta balance will show up as the transaction balance on how much the how much balance from the cash account is being used or being added to cash account can be understood here under transactions. So whatever it is booked in within this particular journal, it will show up here. So coming to after journal, if at all I post this journal where 1000 is credited for cash account, the balance will change to 1,95,400 minus balance. So it is already minus 1,94,400. Again, it will change to 1,95,400. So this cash account is also booked in other journals which are in draft status. Outside this journal, we have few journals that are created, right? So there we have used this cash account, I think so. So from there, it is saying that in those journals, in those vouchers, this much of amount is being used or being just created and saved in draft. So if at all I post those transactions also, this balance also will be added to the after journal balance. So then the total balance will be minus 4,21,890 if at all I post those journals. Okay. If at all I post this journal and if at all I post the other journals as well, both the journals, then I'll have this much balance in my cash account. If I don't post them, so this will be the same balance, right? Whatever there enough, 1,94,400, that will be there. That's all, guys. It's a very small inquiry. So as I told you here, for ledger accounts, you have to configure it in the balance control accounts. Whatever ledger accounts you want, you have to configure it there where I have showed you the navigation, right? So under here under accounts, you have to configure whatever accounts you want, you have to configure here. But for bank accounts, by default, system will automatically take bank accounts into account. Suppose if I go to USMF, I'll change this legal entity here to USMF. Okay, it will now show me the USMF journal. So I have a lot of journals in USMF. I'll select one of the journal just for a sake. I'll show you. I'm going to lines. Here I am going to inquiries and just click on balance control. So in USMF, I already have some bank accounts configured in cash and bank module. Now you can see a petty cash account, which I have configured as a balance control account, is being showing now. As well, I can see bank accounts, USMF Euro, USMF Operation, USMF Payroll. So these are the three bank accounts I have in my USMF legal entity. So the three bank accounts will automatically turn up as balance control. So you don't have to give them as balance control account. They will automatically show up in the inquiry. Once you create bank accounts, so your bank balance will automatically show up in this journal, in this inquiry. I mean, the reading is same or the understanding is same for any account, either it is a ledger account or bank account. Okay, so that's the thing. Clear, guys? To remember these points, why balance control is used as well. Bank accounts are by default shown under the balance control accounts. To remember these two things. Okay.